Do you thrive in a team-oriented office setting or work-from-home environment? Or would you prefer the freedom of the open road, handling claims independently? Exactly which independent adjuster path may fit you best, and is there a huge pay difference? As a licensed desk adjuster with years of experience working alongside field adjusters, I'm going to share firsthand insights to help you answer those questions and more. So stick around. I'm Stacy with AdjusterlYfe, a channel dedicated to taking you from getting started to, most importantly, getting paid in the field of insurance adjusting and offering career inspiration to help you make that change that you've been contemplating for so long. So if you like what you hear, please consider liking and subscribing. Now let's get started. The key differences between independent desk and field adjusting are going to include location, duties, interaction, flexibility, equipment, and pay. I'm going to go ahead and discuss the differences for each category, starting with location. So field adjusters do just that. They work in the field. They travel from location to location, inspecting the damaged property in person, while desk adjusters work from an in-office setting, either the insurance carrier's office or the adjusting firm's office, or they're like me and they work from home. And we don't inspect the damage in person, but we can do what's called virtual inspections, and that's based on documents received from the insured or the company completing their repairs. Field adjusters, for their duties, complete the in-person inspection of the damaged property. When they're at the location, they're going to take photos, they're going to take measurements, they're going to create a written narrative of their findings and create an initial estimate. And after their report is reviewed and approved, it's then forwarded to the assigned desk adjuster for review and final approval. Desk adjusters review documents submitted by either the insured's contractor, the field adjuster, and all of that is reviewed against the insured's policy to determine coverage. Desk adjusters are going to sometimes process initial payments or supplemental payments if warranted. And speaking of supplements, that's actually where I started, which is kind of rare to start on the back end. That's more back end claims handling. But supplements is when the insured is seeking additional payment on the claim for the same loss due to either their contractor finding additional damage or a price discrepancy. Now, some additional duties for both the field and desk adjusters are going to include making initial contact with the insured, completing daily tasks as needed, following up with the insured in a timely manner, and responding to emails and voicemails. Field adjusters, as I've stated, work directly with the policyholders, contractors, and other interested parties during inspections, while desk adjusters communicate with the insureds, contractors, field adjusters, and other interested parties primarily through phone or email. Now, as far as the flexibility goes with the job, the field adjuster, their schedule is more flexible, obviously, because they're out in the field. But it does require a lot of travel and physical activity, obviously, since they are performing a complete inspection of the damaged property. As far as desk adjusting goes, that involves a more structured environment, more structured hours with little to no physical activity, less independence, obviously, because they are working in an office setting. Well, on most cases, like I work remotely, so I don't have someone like looking down my throat. But if you're in an office setting, obviously you're working around leadership staff and things of that nature. So it's more structured. As far as the equipment goes, field adjusters are going to use tools like ladders, drones, cameras, and measuring devices. You can see a full list of equipment needed if you take a look in my description box below. The necessary software programs that are needed to use in the field are usually at the field adjuster's expense. Now, once again, this is for independent field adjusters, not staff field adjusters. The equipment that I use as a desk adjuster are computer-based tools like a laptop, multiple monitors, a headset, and any necessary software programs are usually provided by either the insurance carrier or the adjusting firm. I've never had to pay out of pocket for any software program I've used as an independent desk adjuster. That's always been provided for me, which is a great thing. Once again, for a complete list of the adjuster toolkit and equipment needed to help you succeed in the role, check out my suggestions in the description box. Now, some additional information I want to talk about is independent field adjusters don't typically make the final determination of the claim. That is the assigned desk adjuster's responsibility in most cases. And field adjusters are typically paid based on a fee schedule and can earn well over 6 figures annually. Their pay is going to be directly tied to the size of the claim they handle and are typically paid a percentage based on the final claim settlement amount. Now, here's an example of a typical residential field adjuster fee schedule. So according to this chart, if you take a look, if the total loss amount for a non-catastrophe event came to $13,000, then you can see the earning potential for you as a field adjuster would be $750 for that one claim. If it is a CAT event or catastrophe event, the amount to be paid to you would be $900 for that claim. So imagine if you were to complete 4 claims per day for a CAT event. That means your pay would be $3,600 for that day's work. Now, desk adjusters, on the other hand, although typically aren't paid based on a fee schedule relating to the final claim settlement amount, can still earn well over 6 figures. I most certainly can speak from experience and have earned 6 figures working on average 8 to 9 months a year. Desk adjusters are typically paid either a fixed day rate or hourly rate with time and a half for overtime. So for instance, with a day rate, you would agree to be paid one flat rate whether you work a 12-hour shift or an 8-hour shift. The pay is going to remain the same. There is no additional amount for overtime unless something else is worked out with your independent adjusting firm. Now, on the other hand, you could be paid hourly with time and a half for overtime. So for example, you may agree to be paid $38 per hour for the first 8 hours, which with time and a half, with time and a half, is going to equal $57 per hour for each hour worked over 8 hours each day. During major weather-related events, a typical work schedule could start at 7 days a week with 12-hour days, so your earning potential for that particular assignment would be $532. Hopefully I didn't confuse you. I know that was a lot, but hopefully you got it. Usually if you are scheduled to work a shift, which is 7 days a week, 12-hour days, that doesn't last always. Eventually, that shift is going to go down to 6/10s, which would be 6 days a week, 10-hour days. And if the carrier chooses to keep you on because you're doing such an awesome job, which hopefully you will be, then maybe your schedule will change to 4 days a week, 8-hour days, and so forth. It just all really depends on that specific insurance carrier's needs. Now, here is another example. This is an example of an assignment that I worked that offered me $500 per day, working 7 days per week, 10-hour days. This earned me $3,500 per week, and this is an example of a day rate. Now, I do want to compare this to the very first assignment that I've ever worked. I have mentioned this in some of my previous videos. My first assignment was not working a major catastrophe, so the pay wasn't the greatest. Now, as you can see, I was paid $25 per hour with no overtime. And I did accept this position because I had no adjusting experience. And if you're new, you may have a similar decision to make. Remember, you have to start somewhere just like I did. And I was able to gain valuable experience that I was able to actually take to my next assignment and add that experience to help build up my resume. So please, 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 please be wise in your choices, okay? Also, please keep in mind that fee schedules, day rates, and hourly pay is going to vary based on each carrier's needs. And you do have the option as an independent contractor, which as an independent adjuster, you are considered an independent contractor. You have the option to accept that assignment, reject it, or negotiate. Okay. It's also important to understand, though, that the adjusting firms want people who are willing to work, have a good attitude, and who aren't difficult to deal with. But they also want to make sure that you're comfortable with whatever assignment you choose to accept, because they want to make sure that you're going to show up for work when you're scheduled. So, hopefully this gives you a good idea of the major differences between independent field adjusters and independent desk adjusters. If you want more detailed information about how to become an independent adjuster, get those assignments, and get paid, please visit my website at www.AdjusterlYfe.com, and that is life with a Y, and get my easy to follow resource guide. You can also get a free adjuster career checklist. Subscribe if you found this information helpful, and please comment to let me know which role you think is right for you. Finally, embrace the lessons, celebrate your victories, and persevere through difficulties. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.